Welcome to the Piedmont Unitarian Universalist Church. Piedmont UU sits on the traditional land of the Catawba, Kiowa, and Shuguri peoples. We honor them. My name is Elaine Deck, and I will be worship assistant this morning for the Reverend Dr. Amy Rio. We are a flourishing, vibrant, and radically welcoming congregation that promotes diversity, inclusion, and social justice. We provide a safe haven for creative intellectual growth, spiritual development, and a very deep sense of community for all who join us. We hope that our liberal religious values will encourage you to and challenge you to join us as a community that lives boldly and acts justly. To all of our visitors and our members, we're very glad that you're here, whether in person or with us online. We do hope to see you again. Your presence is a gift to us. A few announcements for this Sunday. During the month of Ramadan, many Muslims fast both food and water from sunrise to sunset. Iftar is the meal at sunset that breaks that fast and is often an opportunity for connecting with others. Mosaic of Charlotte is hosting an iftar friendship dinner, often open to the whole community this Ramadan from 7 o'clock to 8:30 p.m. on Thursday, March 12th at the Caldwell Presbyterian Church here in Charlotte. Please check our email announcements to sign up if you're interested. On this coming Saturday, March 14th, is Pi Day and Susan E.'s birthday, big number 70. Yeah, bravo, she made it. Please either bring a covered dish for a potluck that we're having served in a circle, or make a contribution to the church to acknowledge her birthday and the connectedness of all of us. Children are welcome to attend, so you can join us from 2 o'clock to 4:30 p.m. on that Saturday, and we hope we'll see you there. Our fundraising committee lead, Becky, has an announcement for us, so come on up, Becky.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's time for another auction. Yes. Last year, we raised just over $11,000, which was quite amazing. We're hoping to do just as well this year, and maybe even surpass that. So the first step is we need your auction submissions. Your fundraising committee has been doing a great job of getting local donations from businesses and organizations, but really the heart of our auction is what our members have to offer in terms of events and just things that you all bring that are special to you and kind of fills up our church calendar. So if you need ideas, I am going to put some catalogs from previous years on the counter in the back. And just a reminder that the event will take place here on April 25th. We are moving it a little earlier this year, so doors open at 4:30 instead of 5:30. That way we can all get home a little bit earlier. That was some feedback we got from last year. And I also have some paper submission forms if Google Forms are not your thing and you want to fill out the paper. And if you do love Google Forms, on the back of your order of service there is a QR code that will take you directly to the form where you can submit your auction items. If you have any questions, please email me at auction@puc.org or find somebody from the fundraising committee, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thanks.
Thank you, Becky. That's always such a fun time and an opportunity to get together and throughout the year. So I really encourage you to join us. For other important information about our vibrant community, please see your order of service, or if you're on our email list, please check our monthly newsletter and weekly announcements. Whatever brought you to this place at this hour, we welcome you. May you find something you need, and may you leave richer in spirit than when you arrived.
Well, first, I want to congratulate all of you who've gotten here on the correct time this morning. I know that's quite an achievement, and I am so glad to be back here with you after having some vacation and study leave time. I'll tell you a little bit more about the vacation with the sermon I'm going to do in April. So I'm very glad to be here with all of you, and just wonderful thanks to Reverend Caleb and Vanessa and Teresa for filling in. I've been able to see their services online, and just so glad that we were able to be able to learn from them and worship together. Now, I know that some of y'all have noticed I've got a boot on my right foot. I am fine. I got distracted in my home last night by a certain basketball game that I was hoping to see, and I only saw about 20 seconds of it before I missed steps. They have been in the home I've been living in for almost 11 years. And it's not a break, it's just, good heavy sprain. So I'm fine. So if you see me up here, I'm going to be propping my foot up and probably using the bar stool to sit down, so I'm not standing too much today. But I just want you to know I'm okay. Just got a little distracted, which actually goes along great with our sermon later today. So as we prepare for worship, it is time for us to light our chalice, and I invite you to hear these words from Reverend Scott Taylor. We kindle this light to help us look upon the world anew. May it help us remember that reverent eyes lead to revelation. In the glow of this hour, may attention be our prayer, the vehicle through which we love this world and enable it to love us back. I invite you now to please join me in singing the words to the lighting of our chalice, which are found in your bulletin. I invite you to please rise in body or spirit for our call to worship found in your bulletin. Please join me together. Come, awaken your senses to this moment where we practice the revolutionary act of noticing the breath that sustains us, the beauty hiding in ordinary hours, the small things that keep hope alive. Come, let us train our attention on that which leads us home. Our opening hymn is found in our great hymnal, number 359, When We Are Gathered. I invite any of our young ones to come forward for our Time for All Ages with Miss Jennifer.
You may be missing some toddlers here. Hi! We'll go ahead and get started, though. Oh, here they are. We'll give them a moment to come up. Hello? 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 Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me on the carpet today. So today, we're going to read a story. We haven't been reading stories lately, but I'm going to read a story. Malala's Magic Pencil by Malala Yousafzai and illustrated by Caruso. This is the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize. And today is a true story. Remember we talked about the difference between fiction and real stories? So this is a real story. Do you maybe remember what our topic for the month is? What did we talk about last week? Paying attention. I didn't even catch that joke until you started laughing. So today is about paying attention to inequality. And so we're going to read this book to kind of draw our attention to International Women's Day. Do you believe in magic? Do you? No? When I was younger, I used to watch a TV show about a boy who had a magic pencil. If he was hungry, he drew a bowl of curry and it appeared. If he and his friends were in danger, he drew a police officer. The boy was a little hero, always protecting people who needed help. How I wanted a magic pencil too. If I had a magic pencil, I would use it to put a lock on my door so my brothers couldn't bother me. Stop time so I could sleep an extra hour every morning. None of us could think of that today. Erase the smell of the trash dump near our house. And I would use it to make other people happy. I would draw the most beautiful dresses in the world for my mother, the best buildings in the valley for my father, so that he can open many schools where children would study for free. A proper ball, so my brothers and I no longer had to play with an old sock stuffed with rubbish. Every night before I went to bed, I wished for a magic pencil of my own. And every morning I would wake up and check my cupboard, and the magic pencil was never there. I know. It's sad, isn't it? One day, I was throwing away potato peels and eggshells at the dump. I was wrinkling my nose, swatting away flies, and making sure I didn't step on anything dirty in my nice shoes when I saw a girl about my age sorting trash into piles. Nearby, boys were fishing for metal scraps using magnets on strings. When my father returned home from work, I told him what I had seen, and it made him very sad. "Abba," I said. "Yes, Johnny," he said back. I always liked when he called me dear one. "Why haven't I seen the girl in my class?" "Because," he said, but he didn't finish right away. "Because, Johnny, in our country, not everyone sends their daughters to school, and some children must work to support their family. Those boys will sell the metal scraps they find, and if they went to school, their families would go hungry. School was my favorite place, but I had never considered that I was lucky to go there." My father had always said, "Malala will be as free as a bird." Now I wondered if that was if I truly would be free. That night, I thought about families who didn't have enough food, and the girl who couldn't go to school, and even about how when I was older, I would be expected to cook and clean for my brothers, because where I came from, many girls weren't allowed to become what they dreamed of. I knew if I had the magic pencil, I would use it to draw a better world, a peaceful world. First, I would erase war, poverty, and hunger. Then I would draw boys and girls as equals. Over the next few years, instead of wishing for a magic pencil every night, I worked hard in school every day. I wanted to be one of the top students in my class. But soon, powerful and dangerous men declared that girls were forbidden from coming to school. They walked the streets of our city now. They carried weapons. One by one, girls stopped coming to school. "Abba, where are all the students?" They don't feel safe here anymore, Johnny. How could a few men stop all the girls in our valleys from going to school? If more people knew what was happening to us, I thought they might help. Wishing wasn't enough. Someone needed to speak out. Why not me? I wrote about what it felt like to be scared to walk to school and how some of my friends had moved away because of the threat faced in our city. I wrote about how much I loved school and how proud I was of my uniform. Once I started writing, I didn't stop. I wrote speeches and traveled around my country sharing my story. I even talked to a reporter from a famous international newspaper. People actually wanted to learn about my life. I spoke for all the girls in my valley who couldn't speak for themselves. My voice became so powerful that the dangerous men tried to silence me, but they failed. And now my voice is louder than ever, louder because people joined me, and together we make a chorus, standing up for what we believe. We raise our voices for those in need, help people in danger, even if they are an ocean away. Think of the world as a family. Do you still believe in magic? Yeah, I do. You're not sure yet?
I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Well, we'll talk about it when we go back. Maybe Miss Amber will help you talk about magic pencils. I wrote alone in my room, but people all over the world were reading my story. Millions now know how to help me spread my message of hope. I had at last found the magic I was looking for, in my words, in my work. I am Malala. I've always wished I could make the world a more peaceful place, and every day I work to make my wish come true. One child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world. And this is Malala speaking at the UN.
Yeah.
Do y'all want to come back and join us as we talk more about this story? Do you want to go to the nursery and play? No? All right.
So at this time, we will enter into our time for ritual and sacred sharing. We share joys and sorrows, concerns, and milestones. First, we light a candle for Orland and his wife, Martha. Martha, some of you might know, was in the hospital after a fall. She is doing better and has been released from the hospital now. We light a candle in honor of International Women's Day. Yes. We light a candle for peace to emerge quickly from the war in the Middle East that our country has started. And we especially lift up all the lives that have been lost and the people harmed. For all who've been impacted by ICE raids and activity. For all areas of violence around the world, especially the ongoing war in Ukraine. And for our country, that we might continue to work towards creating a society which is filled with love and empathy, civil rights, and justice for every single person. Now, at this time, you are invited to come forward as you feel called to do so. I invite you to come forward along the far wall. We have our prayer stand where you may fill out a prayer card and place it on the prayer stand. Elaine can help you light a candle of joy or concern, or you may place a stone in our shared water together. We now light a few more candles for the things we hold in our hearts which remain unspoken, and also for those who are joining us virtually to honor what is in their hearts as well. I invite us now into a time for quiet rest, meditation, or prayer. During this time of silence, I invite you to pay attention. I invite you to settle more fully into your seat, and to slow your breath, and to pay attention to what needs attention this morning. It might be that you pay attention and notice your breath as you breathe deeply. Are there some part of your body that might be holding things which are difficult and that you pay attention there? Or perhaps, if your eyes are open, that you pay attention to some of the beauty of creation which is right here before us today. So during this time of silence, in whatever way Spirit leads you, let us pay attention.
This morning's wisdom reading is entitled For Presence by John O'Donohue. Awaken to the mystery of being here and enter the quiet immensity of your own presence. Have joy and peace in the temple of your senses. Receive encouragement when new frontiers beckon. Respond to the call of your gift and the courage to follow its path. Let the flame of anger free you from all falsity. May warmth of heart keep your presence aflame. May anxiety never linger about you. May your outer dignity mirror an inner dignity of your soul. Take time to celebrate the quiet miracles that seek no attention. Be consoled in the secret symmetry of your soul. May you experience each day as a sacred gift woven around the heart of wonder.
Thank you, Elaine. I'm knocking stuff over inside the lectern, but obviously I'm a little clumsy right now, so. Now, I had a wonderful preaching professor in seminary, or homiletics was officially the title, like giving a homily. And one thing he was always very clear on is that we were not to preach to people. The first person we should be preaching to was ourselves, right? So every sermon I give is to myself. And last night, as I was lying in bed and on my pain pill that I had from my sprained ankle, and I thought, the theme for this month is paying attention and dealing with distractions. And I was so distracted by that basketball game on TV, I didn't pay attention to where I was going. I thought, I am Dr. Lisher would be proud of me. I'm a walking embodiment of my sermon today. So I think it's, one thing that I know all of us can agree on is that we are living in a time filled with distraction, right? Whether it's something on TV or just all the other noise in our lives. We have become so used to distraction and noise that sometimes we don't even know what to do without it. Now, a number of years ago, I began a spiritual director certification and included a significant amount of training on mindfulness. So I was a college chaplain at that point in time, as I was for many years. And I started doing a lot of mindfulness programming, not just for the students, but also my colleagues, faculty and staff. It wasn't easy for much of any of us, right? Being in silence, being focused, even for just a couple minutes, was so much a challenge for so many of us. I had students who were talking about that because I would say, how was that for you? What was that like? And they said, felt like my fingers were itching to pick up my phone and start scrolling and seeing what was going on. And I certainly have felt that way at numerous times over the years that I've had a cell phone. Now, I'd like to invite each one of us in the coming days to pay attention to what we do with, quote, dead time, right? When we don't necessarily have something that we need to be doing. Perhaps we're sitting and waiting for an appointment, or we're sitting waiting to pick up a child. What do we do with that time? Do we look for some kind of distraction? Whether it's the phone or something on our radio or just anything that keeps us from being present and paying attention to that present moment. And in the coming days, as hopefully you pay attention to how you're spending your time, and especially that quote dead time, I invite you also to notice what people around you are doing. How many people are not comfortable without some kind of distraction, even for just a few moments? Now, there's been some interesting research in recent years how living in the age of distraction is impacting our health. There's something called information fatigue syndrome. See a few heads nodding. Some people have heard that. Information fatigue syndrome. Now, it's something I believe that many of us are dealing with on various levels. being overwhelmed with information, especially negative news, and looking for distraction as a means to deal with this. We are all, in some degree or another, experiencing information fatigue. Now, having information fatigue syndrome, experiencing that, actually reduces our mental capacity. It reduces our executive function, so we're less able to function at the kind of level that many of us would like to function. It also leads to sleep challenges. How many people have had problems falling asleep, or perhaps have gone to sleep and woken up in the middle of the night thinking about some information, something? I think many of us have. Information fatigue syndrome also can lead to burnout, and on so many different ways it negatively impacts our physical, emotional, and spiritual health. So where do we go from here? What is helpful for us along the spiritual journey? Now, some of you might recall back in 2017, U.S. Representative in Congress Maxine Waters, powerful leader. She was in a committee meeting and refused to be bullied or have her questions avoided during that meeting. So she persistently and patiently said, "Reclaiming my time. Reclaiming my time." What a powerful witness. I remember when I first saw the video of that, an older black woman who would not be bullied by those around her. Reclaiming my time. Representative Waters stood strong against others who wanted to take her time. She stood strong against those who would diminish who she was and the work that she was doing. Now, information overload and never-ending distractions are like a vampire. Right? They suck our energy and our attention. So I encourage each one of us today to reclaim our attention. Reclaim our attention. To take control of our attention for our own spiritual health. There are so many things out there that are going to latch onto us, to take our time, to say this is what's important, to take our peace of mind and our health. So it's important for us, for our spirits, to reclaim our attention. Justine Toe is a senior research fellow at the Center for Public Christianity in Sydney, Australia. And she wrote these words: "Our entire attention economy is organized around helping us avoid the demands of other people and things. How many of us have retreated to the comfort of our screens to soothe our social anxiety or to numb the guilt we feel at failing to show up for other people? It turns out that the loss of our focus and ability to concentrate is just the tip of the attentional iceberg. Also at stake is our ability to be present to the people we love, and even to be present to ourselves and to our pain." Now, being present, paying attention, is not always sunshine and roses, right? It's not always easy or joy-filled. Sometimes it's painful. Think about the book that Jennifer shared with Malala. It's a girl, she was paying attention to what was going on at the dump and who she did not see at school beside her. And it had some harsh truths. paying attention can be painful. But truly being alive, listening to our own inner divine light and recognizing the divine light in another includes joy and pain, hope and despair. Reclaiming our attention helps us to sing with the bird in our yard on a beautiful spring day, and also helps us have empathy for the parent who lost their daughter to a bomb while she was simply sitting in her classroom. It is in paying attention to the scope of humanity, all its complexities, all the challenges and positive things. It is in paying attention to the scope of humanity and that experience. That is when we are most alive and most connected to our own divine light and the divine throughout creation. Now, the New Testament has this sentence from Jesus, which I'm sure many of you have heard: where your treasure is, there your heart is also. And people normally just talk about material possessions, and that is true. You know, where we spend our money, that's where our heart is. But it's also true, this statement, in regards to our attention. Where we give our attention, that is where our heart is also. British author and journalist Oliver Burkeman wrote, "Your experience of being alive consists of nothing other than the sum of everything to which you pay attention." Let's hear that again. Your experience of being alive consists of nothing other than the sum of everything to which you pay attention. At the end of your life, looking back, whatever compelled your attention from moment to moment is simply what your life will have been. So when you pay attention to something you don't especially value, it's not an exaggeration to say that you are paying with your life. Now, as we sit here this morning in a Unitarian Universalist church, think about, what do we want our lives to be? What do we want our spiritual journey to be? We know that we want them to be grounded in our UU values, our values of justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, inclusivity, and generosity. And all these values, they are centered and grounded in love. This is what we want for our souls. This is what we want for our community, for our world, for our journeys, for our lives. This is what needs our attention. Today, I invite each one of us to reclaim our attention. Let's recommit. And it's not something we just do once and we think, okay, I'm paying attention, right? It's an ongoing thing. Moment to moment, hour to hour, day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. To commit to reclaiming our attention. Let's recommit to putting our time where our heart is. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
Thank you, Anne. That was beautiful. Let there now be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us, as a community of memory and of hope, for we are now the keepers of that dream. This month we're sharing our offering plate with Blueprint NC. With their partners, Blueprint NC, or North Carolina, works toward inclusive and anti-racist democracy rooted in civic engagement through movement, building, and mobilization. Our hosts will now pass the baskets, and we ask that as you pass the baskets down when you receive them, you may place your gift in the baskets as they make their way around the room, or you're always welcome to give online at puuc.org or by texting PUUC at the number 73256. Today's offering will now gratefully be received. We give thanks for the many gifts contained within these baskets and for the generous hearts which have shared them. I invite you now to please rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn found in your gray hymnal, number 128, For All That Is Our Life. Before we extinguish our chalice, I offer thanks for all the many volunteers who helped make our worship service possible today.
I also ask if you are able to, before you leave the sanctuary, to take the hymnals and place them on the cart near the piano. That's always a big help, too. So as we do each Sunday, let's take a moment to give thanks, either in our hearts or with words for others to hear, for the things for which we are grateful today.
I'd like to thank the message in the life of Jesse Jackson.
Yes, absolutely.
The return of Reverend Amy.
Thank you, Val. Thank you for those joining us virtually, just for having me back. So I'm very glad to be back, too.
I want to say I'm thankful for the people that are taking care of the kids right now. So
Yes, for the people taking care of our children, back with RE in our nursery, yes.
I'm grateful for the children.
For the children, yes. Absolutely grateful for the children.
The message of determining where your attention is going to go.
Yeah. Yeah, thinking about where our attention's going to go and where our treasure is.
Grateful for everyone who went out to vote and
Mhm.
who have committed to vote in the fall.
Yes. Great. Oh. Grateful for those who voted in our primary this past week and those who are committing to vote in November. Yes. Well, we are grateful for all these things and so much more which we hold in our hearts today. Let's now go forth, reclaiming our attention for the things which nourish our souls. We now extinguish our chalice, but we carry its light, its warmth, and its meaning with us until we meet again. May we go in peace, believe in peace, create peace wherever we may wander. May it be so. For our closing song, we form a circle. You may hold hands if you would like to, or you may simply place your hands on your heart.